We have completed Module 1, which includes the first 3 chapters. Today, let's proceed to Chapter 4, Ethics and Research. Ethics broadly refers to questions of right and wrong. Researchers need to consider if it is right to conduct a particular study. According to Webster's New World Dictionary, ethical behavior is conforming to the standards of conduct a given profession or group. It is applied to different areas of research. In educational research, we follow the ethical principles developed by American Psychological Association. The statement of ethical principles addresses the protection of participants from harm, ensuring confidentiality of the research data, and the question of deception of subjects or participants. Protecting participants from harm is the most important ethical consideration. We must ensure that participants are protected from physical or psychological harm, discomfort, or danger due to research procedures. We must obtain informed consent from each participant. We consider these 3 important questions to protect participants. Researchers should consider alternative methods if the participants could be harmed by a study. In order to ensure confidentiality, we must ensure that no one has access to the data except researchers. If possible, we need to remove all names from all data forms. The researchers should have no knowledge of the particular data linked to any participant. Participants should be assured that the data collected from them is held in confidence. They can withdraw from the study or request that data collected about them not be used. When I worked as a research assistant, I needed to help my professor remove all children's names from forms after data entry for confidentiality considerations. Should participants be deceived? Deception refers to intentionally misinforming the subjects to some or all aspects of a research study. This is a complicated question. The answer is yes and no. Researchers should conduct studies without deception if possible. However, many studies cannot be carried out without deception. This happens often in experimental studies because students may be randomly assigned to different treatment control groups in such a design. As deception can cause harm, researchers need to follow related guidelines. First, as mentioned above, no deception should be used if possible. Researchers must determine if deception is justified by the prospective study's scientific, educational, or applied value. If participants are deceived, researchers must ensure that participants are provided with an explanation as soon as possible. Please review the examples involving ethical concerns. Educational researchers often have chances to include children as participants. Children are more vulnerable, have fewer legal rights, and may not understand the language of informed consent. Informed consent of parents or legal guardians is required for participants defined as minors. Children may never be coerced into participation in a study. The National Research Act of 1974 requires that all research institutions receiving federal funds establish what is called an Institutional Review Board, which is used to review and approve research projects. This slide includes the criterion for IRB approval. Many of these are covered in the 3 basic principles described above. Check this link for the IRB information at USC. Ethics in educational research should be considered in all studies. It is easy to understand these principles, but we need to make sure we follow them when conducting research studies.